Welcome to Motivational Humanity. You are not alone. You wake up, alarm buzzing like a warning you can't ignore, and yet nothing happens. You sit there staring at the ceiling, coffee untouched, energy hollow. You tell yourself, I'm lazy. I just need to push harder. But deep down, something whispers differently. Because this isn't laziness. Not really. Here's the paradox. The very moments you feel most incapable of action are often the exact moments your soul is screaming for rest, for recognition, for boundaries. And yet, society labels it as weakness. You feel lazy, but your body and mind might be broken, not morally, but chemically, emotionally, existentially. This tension, the guilt for doing nothing while secretly needing everything, is what keeps you trapped in a loop you can't quite explain. Let's start by reframing what's happening inside you. Motivation isn't just about discipline or grit. It's not a character flaw if your brain resists the shoulds. Emotional intelligence tells us something critical here. Your body and mind are signaling, and you must listen with curiosity, not judgment. You see, vulnerability is not just crying or confessing. It's the courage to acknowledge your inner truth without self-flagellation. And right now, that truth might be you are exhausted beyond what anyone else sees. You are burned out, and it masquerades as laziness. Your heart knows the difference. You have felt this distinction before, where effort feels heavy, but desire still exists. Where your mind whispers, I want to do this, but your body replies, not now, I can't. That dissonance is not laziness. It's your nervous system waving a red flag. Imagine you are carrying a backpack filled with invisible stones. Every expectation, every deadline, every little thing society told you should do. It all stacks up. Some stones are small, you barely notice them. Others are jagged, cutting into your shoulders. You move forward, trying to act normal, trying to motivate yourself, but eventually your knees buckle under the weight. You look around and everyone seems to glide effortlessly, smiling, achieving, thriving. You feel like a fraud. Here's the catch: the backpack doesn't just slow you down, it changes your perception. What looks like laziness to the outside world is your system protecting itself from collapse. You are not lazy. You are in survival mode. Your nervous system has a survival instinct stronger than your mind's desire to perform. You have felt this before. When even the simplest task, like opening your laptop or replying to a message, feels like climbing a mountain. You think, I just need a push, but the push comes from acknowledging your limits, not forcing action. Now, imagine motivation as a flickering candle in a storm. You see it, but it's unpredictable. You try to shield it, to nurture it, to make it burn brighter, yet the wind of stress, anxiety, and exhaustion keeps threatening to snuff it out. You have been told, just work harder, just focus, just be disciplined. But those instructions ignore the storm surrounding your flame. You might feel lazy because the light isn't blazing, but in reality, the flames is fragile, delicate, and misunderstood. Here's the truth: motivation cannot exist in a vacuum. It's not a switch you flip. It's a chemical, emotional, and psychological ecosystem. Your brain, Your body and your spirit must align. And when burnout creeps in, alignment falters. Motivation becomes the illusion that you lack willpower, when actually your system is asking for recalibration, for self-compassion, for acknowledgement of your humanity. You've been here, haven't you? The nights you lie awake thinking, why can't I just do what I'm supposed to? Only to wake up more exhausted, more frustrated, more convinced that something is wrong with you. But nothing is wrong with you. Not yet. You've been carrying that invisible backpack for months, maybe years. Every stone in it, deadlines, expectations, shoulds, has worn down your body's capacity to respond. Burnout doesn't look like dramatic collapse. Often, it looks like quiet resignation. You scroll through your phone, staring at other people's achievements, and wonder why you can't summon the energy to do the things you love, or even the things you must. Here's the truth: burnout is a systemic failure, not a personal one. It's the cumulative effect of chronic stress, emotional overextension, and unmet needs. Your mind and body are telling you, I cannot keep going like this. I need rest. I need boundaries. And yet, the world calls it laziness. The world doesn't see the hours you spend being emotionally available, the weight of every expectation you carry, or the nights your mind won't stop racing. So you feel guilty, you feel inadequate, you feel lazy, but it's a narrative your culture forces on you to keep producing. You have felt this in your bones, the fatigue that sleep alone cannot fix, the mental fog that coffee cannot lift, the despair that movement alone cannot cure. This is burnout, and recognizing it is the first act of courage. Now, let's contrast it with laziness. Laziness is not moral, but it is choice-driven. It's a conscious or semi-conscious decision to disengage when you could act, but you don't. You have felt this too, the moments when the weight isn't unbearable, but you scroll, procrastinate, or distract yourself. Your body is capable, your mind is alert, yet you don't act because something inside you resists effort that doesn't feel meaningful, enjoyable, or necessary. Here's the key distinction: burnout depletes you involuntarily. Laziness is the voluntary withholding of energy. One is a cry for help from your system. The other is a moment of choice, often influenced by avoidance, fear, or lack of direction. You can see why the lines blur. Both look like inaction from the outside. Both make you feel guilty, but the origin is radically different. One demands empathy, the other demands self-reflection. One whispers, I need help. The other whispers, I am avoiding discomfort. Imagine a symphony. Each instrument, your mind, body, emotions, and environment must harmonize to produce motivation. Burnout is a discordant note. Laziness is a choice to mute your instrument. You have felt this symphony falter. You know the difference between a day when your spirit is heavy, aching under invisible pressure, and a day when you simply don't feel like acting. One calls for care, rest, and recalibration. The other calls for introspection, courage, and sometimes accountability. And here's the subtle art of self-awareness. Naming it correctly changes your response. You don't punish yourself for burnout. You nurture yourself. You don't excuse laziness. You examine it, both require honesty, both require vulnerability, both require you to confront your inner truth without judgment. Because motivation is not about forcing a switch. It's about listening to the nuanced signals your system gives you and responding with empathy and strategy, not guilt. You've been told over and over that rest is a luxury reserved for the unambitious, the privileged, the lazy. That if you slow down, you're failing, that the world will only reward relentless motion, ceaseless productivity, and heroic exhaustion. But what if everything you've been told is upside down? What if rest is not indulgence, not weakness, not procrastination, but the very thing that allows you to move forward with purpose? Picture your body and mind as a finely tuned instrument. You cannot play a symphony when the strings are frayed, the keys sticky, the air thick with tension. And yet, this is exactly what you demand of yourself every day. You push through meetings, emails, social obligations, chores, and expectations, telling yourself, I'll rest later. I'll recover tomorrow. And tomorrow comes, and the exhaustion is heavier. The flame inside you dimmer, the weight of inertia almost unbearable. You felt this before. The deep, unshakable fatigue that sleep alone cannot fix. The kind that sits in your chest and your joints, that clouds your thinking, that makes even small decisions feel monumental. That creeping sensation that the world is moving and you are stuck, and if you stop, everyone will notice. That aching whisper inside you, I can't keep up. I need to slow down. Here's the radical truth. Listening to that whisper is not surrender. It is courage. It is an act of self-preservation, of honoring your humanity. It is the acknowledgement that your nervous system, your heart, your mind, they have limits, and ignoring them only deepens the fracture. Rest is not a pause in life. It is a necessary condition for life to continue meaningfully. Imagine your motivation as a fragile flame inside a storm. Every ounce of exhaustion, every unmet need, every expectation unaddressed threatens to snuff it out. Rest is the act of shielding that flame. It is the act of saying, I will not extinguish myself just to meet someone else's standard of progress. Every moment you allow yourself to breathe, to pause, to realign with your needs, you strengthen the foundation on which your motivation will reignite. You have probably felt the relief of simply allowing yourself to stop. The almost imperceptible lightness that comes when you cancel a task, say no, or close your laptop without guilt. That's not laziness. That's courage. That's listening to your system and giving it the care it requires. That is where true energy and true motivation begins. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, the world stops feeling like an unmovable weight. The backpack of stones doesn't disappear, but you learn to carry differently. With rest, with self-compassion, with acknowledgement, the stones shift. The pressure eases, and the candle inside you, previously flickering in the wind, begins to glow steadily once more. Rebuilding motivation is not a sprint. It is not a sudden surge of willpower or a lightning bolt of inspiration. It is a slow, deliberate process, a gentle coaxing of your mind, body, and spirit back into alignment. You have felt this before. The frustration of wanting to move forward, of seeing what needs to be done, but feeling the weight of inertia pin you in place. You scroll, you procrastinate, you distract yourself, not because you are weak, but because your system is out of harmony and you don't yet know how to bring it back. Imagine motivation as a fragile, flickering flame after a storm. You cannot force it to burn brighter. You must shelter it, feed it, and patiently rebuild its strength. You start small. A single action that feels possible today becomes a bridge to another tomorrow. A small step, a tiny accomplishment, is not insignificant. It is a signal to your nervous system that it is safe to try again. You've experienced this without realizing it, the subtle relief of checking one item off your list, the quiet pride of completing a task you thought you couldn't. That moment is the beginning of momentum. Ask yourself which stones in your backpack belong to you and which are borrowed from the expectations of others. Which pressures are truly urgent and which are illusions of obligation. When you answer honestly, you begin to clear space for action. Motivation is not born from endless pressure. It is born from clarity, alignment, and permission to move at your own pace. You have probably noticed how it feels when even the tiniest progress sparks energy. One small success cascades into another. One completed task lifts your chest slightly, loosens a tightness in your shoulders, and reminds you that you are capable. Motivation is not about heroic leaps. It is about careful reconstruction, building the bridge one plank at a time. And here is the quiet magic. With each step, your nervous system learns trust again. It begins to believe that your efforts are recognized, that your energy is respected, that your capacity is honored. Motivation thrives not on judgment or guilt, but on the harmony of your desires, your abilities, and your compassion for yourself. You are not starting from zero. You are starting from understanding. Every small act of progress, no matter how trivial it feels, is a revolution against the fatigue and despair that to paralyze you. Every step you take is proof that your system can recover, that your flame can burn steadily, that motivation can return, not as an obligation imposed from the outside, but as a rhythm cultivated from within. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is not a flaw, a crack, or something to hide. It is the doorway to true motivation, the hidden lever that turns despair into movement and stagnation into action. You have felt this before, the subtle relief of admitting, even if only to yourself, I cannot do this right now. The courage it takes to whisper that truth in a world that glorifies constant productivity is enormous. And yet, this act of honesty, this radical acknowledgement of your limits, is the very soil